Hey guys, Sherm here, and today I'm going to be showing you the Aston Martin Victor in Asphalt 9 at 5 star. Since I do not own this car as it is a Legend Pass car, Fritz has given me some races in his 5-star car, and we're going to see how it does in a more regular multiplayer season since last time I tested it was at Golden Max, where it was the only car in its season. And you guys know I like to test it in more cases than that. Please consider subscribing if you have not already, and consider checking out my Film Clips channel as well as my Purple Team Discord. Links to those will be in the description as always, and I hope you enjoy all these races. Also, I will be streaming this Saturday, January 8th at my usual time, 5:30 p.m. GMT, so I hope to see you all there. All the races in this video were recorded in one of the more recent MP2s, which had the Tri-Nemesis, the Bugatti Chiron, and the Pininfarina Battista, all three of which show up in this race, including a maxed out Tri-Nemesis, which just went out of the track back there, leaving Fritz with quite a substantial lead. But as you guys know, the Tri-Nemesis is quite fast, so we'll have to see if he's able to catch up at all. But right now, nobody else is really even on the map all that much. The Victor, in terms of absolute performance, is better than all of the other Legend Pass cars that we have gotten. It is one of the best cars in Class A. However, I do not believe it is a king on any track, and just doesn't really excel in any particular aspect. Now, none of its stats are terrible either. At 5 stars, I would say that its weakest point is probably the acceleration at below 80, which is not optimal. It is still not terrible though, and I would say its strongest point is probably the top speed, 239 miles per hour and around 240 at maxed out. The handling and nitro are fine, not much to comment on there. Overall, the Victor is a perfectly good high-end A-class car that should do fine in multiplayer, as we'll see throughout this video, but it won't get you any of the top times in any tracks in A-class. So recently, the SCG-007S Grand Prix began, and I said in my previous video that I was going to try to sandbag it and see if I could get the car more easily, since it's not one that I want to spend tokens on. And I successfully got into Tier 3, which I'm okay with. Tier 3 or Tier 4 is probably where I would want to be. In Tier 5, I'd just be so worried that one other person would go in there, and assuming Tier 5 only has one guaranteed key, I wouldn't really like that. But Tier 3 has 3 guaranteed keys. In the first round so far, I'm in second position, just like a frame behind the first position, so I think I should be okay, and I'm definitely going to try to get that car. I'm going to try my hardest to get top 3 in the event, get another car. So far, this update has been pretty good to me, actually. Even though we've got the Drive Syndicate, which isn't all that great, which, by the way, I'm going to talk a little bit about that later in the video, but I got 3 cars from that, 2 new ones in this update, and if I can get the SCG, that'll be 3 new cars in this update I've gotten, which is better than I've been able to do in quite a while, so I'll be quite happy with that. And speaking of the Drive Syndicate, just this morning, actually, I finally hit the point where I am unable to continue any further. I have reached my paywall. I have bought all the relay packs, I've spent all my Syndicate coins, and at this point, in maybe about a week or so, toward the end of the event, I'll be making a video about, well, just how the event was, some calculations and stuff, kind of like how I did for the LVN. I'm planning to go through those sorts of calculations again to answer the question once and for all. Is it a better event or a worse event than the DS3, or is it about the same? Which, thanks to good old Microsoft Excel, we should be able to answer pretty certainly. I believe it is indeed slightly better, even though it's set up almost the same way. We do have a couple of quality of life improvements, like, for example, not having the cars take fuel, which is extremely nice, so now we only have to worry about the hazard level filling up and not the fuel of the cars running out, so we can do all 10 of the 1 hazard level races at once in any car without having to worry about the fuel running out. That was very nice. But in terms of the pay-to-win aspect, how much everything costs, that will be left to be seen. I ended off the event with a 3-star Saline, a 3-star Gallardo, and a 2-star GTR 50, and my extra remaining Syndicate coins I spent on a few blueprints for the GTR 50 and a few for the Gallardo, since I couldn't really decide which one I wanted, so I just spent a little bit on both of them. Seemed like a decent way to go out. I uploaded reviews about my Saline, the Gallardo, and the GTR 50 in the last week or so, so I definitely recommend checking those out if you haven't seen them yet. Now, also in this season, there was the McLaren Senna. Now, the reason why I didn't mention that earlier is because, well, I didn't see that very often in these races that Fritz gave to me because, well, it's just not as good as the other cars in the season, and you were not, like, stopped from using the upper level cars if you were in a lower league. You could use anything in any league. So why would people choose the Senna when you could drive the Chiron Nemesis? In any case, someone in this race did, so we get to see how the Senna does against all of these other much better vehicles. So the two multiplayer seasons currently are a standard one, which is B-Class, which I tested the GTR 50 in, and the second one is Festive Season 1. Which doesn't actually have anything at all to do with any of the new cars in the update. It has a lot of max free try in cars like the Lycan and the Huracan, and they seem to be loosely tied to the Festive Season packs, but I just find it funny that a multiplayer season called the Festive Season has nothing to do with the actual Festive Season update. Now, what probably will happen is we'll get two more or so, one of which has max free try in either one or multiple of new cars in the update, and then the final second multiplayer season of the update is one where people can drive the new cars they got in the update at whatever stars they got them at. That seems to be the general trend from previous updates, so I don't see why it wouldn't continue here. And likely the multiplayer one is going to go to A-Class and then to S-Class. Once it gets to S-Class, I'm going to be testing my Bugatti Chiron there. Still haven't decided yet whether I'm going to put my epics for sure on handling or top speed. Definitely let me know down in the comments below what you think about that. Originally I was going to do top speed, but in previous videos a couple of people said that, hey, top speed, you rarely ever get to it in the Chiron since it's so high, and handling is something that you use more often. Even though it feels more useless, it technically is more useful. So yeah, I'm just curious to hear what you guys' thoughts on that are. And speaking of the Chiron, I've pretty much completed the event. I've gotten to the final day, and I have gotten all of the condition rewards. The only things I haven't done are some of the 10 times conditions on a few of the days, which generally just give like card packs and stuff that I don't really care about, so might not worry about that, but this is definitely the most I've completed a special event in a long time. I am very, very happy the Game Loft decided to really bring back the old Bugatti Chiron special event with the old cars and kept it 99% the same. They did change the condition rewards a little bit, but overall, definitely one of the easier special events we've got in a while. I'm quite happy with it because the Bugatti Chiron is still a great car, and if you have no other high-end S-Class cars, the Chiron is definitely a good one to go for. You can't use it in S-Class Elite anymore, but it definitely will do some damage in multiplayer. So now it's time for my general review of the Victor. As you can see throughout this video, it drives pretty smoothly. It's fast enough to compete well against the S-Class cars in this video for the most part. Obviously, if you get a really high top speed track like Himalayas, the Trions are going to absolutely kill it. But especially for, say, Platinum League multiplayer, this car will be very, very good. Quite reliable overall, I'd say. Not any particular standout stats, nor any particularly bad ones other than the acceleration, maybe being slightly slow. But I definitely would consider the Victor to be one of, if not the very best Legend Pass car, just because of its overall good performance and its fairly strong competitiveness in multiplayer. Again, you're not going to get a king, but you will be getting a very competent car. Thank you all so much for watching, and thank you to Fritz for these races. Please like the video if you have enjoyed, and consider subscribing for more Asphalt, Forza, Minecraft, and other games content. And I will see you in my next video. Goodbye!